Hello, mortals. So, in our previous episode, we talked about how the Arctic made our distant ancestors evolve into a new species, Homo sapiens. We explained how this gave our brain a huge advantage with more oxygen. But what happened to the rest of our body? How did the rest of us evolve to survive in such harsh conditions? Well, it turns out that the Arctic did to the rest of our body what it did to our brain, namely forced it to adapt or die. The first big challenge was, of course, the food. Faced with that frozen world, the first thing that had to change was the engine, the human metabolism. In warmer climates, our bodies were designed for a mixed diet: fruits, plants, some meat. It was a flexible, car-burning system. But the Arctic offered none of that. The menu was simple: protein and fat. Mammoth steak, reindeer fat, seal blubber. So, the body had to become a specialized machine, a supreme fat-burning engine. This wasn't just a shift in preference, it was a genetic rewrite. Their bodies became incredibly efficient at breaking down heavy animal fats and turning them into pure energy and vital warmth. This likely involved changes in liver function and the development of a higher, resting metabolic reta internal furnace that was constantly stoked, burning calories just to maintain core body temperature against the relentless cold. This metabolic adaptation was the foundation of everything. It turned the Arctic's greatest resources, fatty megafauna, from a potential digestive nightmare into their primary fuel source. They didn't just learn to eat like Arctic people. Their very cells learned to thrive on it. But while they were solving the problem of food, they faced another, more insidious threat: a lack of sunlight. This seems simple, but it created a biological paradox. Human skin needs sunlight to produce vitamin D, which is absolutely essential for absorbing calcium and building strong bones. But in the low-light Arctic, sunlight was a scarce commodity for much of the year. Their original darker skin, perfect for protecting against the intense UV rays of equatorial Africa, was now a liability in the north. It was too good a block in the weak sun they desperately needed. So, nature found a solution. Over generations, a powerful genetic pressure selected for lighter and lighter skin tones. This was not about aesthetics. It was about bare survival. Lighter skin allowed every precious photon of that weak Arctic sunlight to be used for vitamin D synthesis. It was a breathtakingly elegant solution to a life-or-death problem. This adaptation is a perfect, visible reminder that our bodies are not static. They are a conversation with the environment. And in the Arctic, the conversation was about balancing the need to protect folate with the desperate need to absorb every last drop of sun. Finally, the very shape of the body began to transform.
This is where we see some of the most obvious and brilliant adaptations.
The classic Arctic body is shorter, stockier, with shorter limbs. This isn't a random design. It's pure bioengineering governed by two fundamental rules. Bregman's rule states that within a species, larger bodies are found in colder climates because a larger volume conserves heat more efficiently. Allen's rule states that shorter limbs reduce the surface area through which precious body heat can be lost. So, a compact, powerful physique was the perfect answer to the relentless cold. It was the ultimate thermal suit, minimizing heat loss and protecting the core. This body type was also incredibly strong and powerful, essential for the demanding tasks of hunting massive animals, processing carcasses, and building sturdy shelters from bone and hide. Every aspect of their form was refined for function, from the way their cells processed energy, to the color of their skin, to the very proportions of their butt. They were being meticulously crafted by the unforgiving hand of the Arctic, becoming the perfect human machine for a frozen world. Now, there is one part of the body that was especially affected by these changes. And no, it wasn't the nose, it was the ears. The shape of our ears changed a lot over the years, and we have the cold to thank for that. You see, when our ancestors left Africa, they had large, protruding ears that served a purpose back home. In the savannas of Africa, these ears would have helped them to cool off by radiating heat. But in the Arctic, these large ears were not only useless, they were actually detrimental. All that surface area meant more heat was lost through the years. So, evolution took that energy-wasting anatomy and reshaped it. Over time, those protruding ears became smaller and more tucked back on the head, minimizing the surface area exposed to the freezing air. This might seem like a small change, but in the context of a body that was undergoing a complete overhaul for the Arctic, it was a big deal. It was yet another adaptation, another piece of evidence that our bodies are not static, but rather a reflection of our environment. Our ears, once aids to cooling off, became part of the body's effort to conserve heat. In the end, every bit of this anatomy was perfectly sculpted by the forces of natural selection. Our next big topic is going to be the evolution of the human brain. So, if you want to help us with that, please send us your ideas via the link below. Next, let's talk about that new feature we are working on, our personalized news feed. You see, there's a lot more going on in the world than just videos about human evolution. There are discoveries in astrophysics, economics, psychology, history, philosophy, technology, and so many other areas. Unfortunately, it's impossible for us to cover all of that in our scripts. That's why we're building a personalized newsfeed for you. Once you sign up, you will receive a curated selection of articles based on your interests from the very best sources. Basically, this feature will make sure that you never run out of new ideas to think about. It's the perfect complement to our videos. And that is not all. This new feature is powered by a new website. Let us show you around. First, there's the briefing, which gives you an informative overview of the day's news. Then there are the articles. This is the heart of the website. You'll find long-form journalism, opinion pieces, reports, really everything you need to keep up to date with what's going on in the world. And finally, there's the discussion. This is a community of curious people who share their perspectives on the articles they read. There are comments, reactions, and even links to relevant podcasts and videos. But wait, we haven't even told you the best part. The news feed and the website are completely free. Yep, you heard that right. We believe that everyone should have access to quality information, and we are committed to making that happen. So go ahead and sign up. It's a great way to support us, and we promise you won't regret it. Thank you for watching.